Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. In the headlines, controversial picks by Donald Trump to his cabinet. The Republican Party, as predicted, takes the House with the 218th seat. And we're going to talk about why it matters the day they've done this on. But now the Republican Party has the House, the Senate, and of course the Oval Office. But also in the headlines, you have the death of the prominent conservative lawyer who helped secure the election for Bush in 2000 when it came down to Florida, where his brother was the 43rd governor, making him the 43rd president. But you have this death of Ted Olson today, who was instrumental in Republican litigation, if you will. And he was a lawyer for Ronald Reagan until 1984, 40 years ago now. Of course, Ronald Reagan was number 40. But this man who's a big part of Republican history just happens to die on the day that the Republicans, it's confirmed that they have taken the House. And again, they have the Senate and they have the Congress. And we talked about why it seemed that Republicans were destined to get the 218th seat. Again, that 218 is a very interesting number. It's very connected to Trump and the many rituals with him, including the presidential alerts they send out that go out at 2:18 Eastern time, which Trump is the godfather of. And again, the Holy Roman Empire, it supposedly folded on the 218th day of the year, August 6th, 1806, and that was 218 years ago. And here we are in the land of Roman architecture, where D.C. was once known as Rome on the Potomac. But look at this. With them taking the House, the Senate, and the Oval Office, this is referred to as a unified government. And this is the 48th time in U.S. history that this has happened. The 48th time one political party has had the House and the Senate and the Oval Office. And notice, today leaves 48 days left in the year. This has happened November 13th, the day that it's confirmed. All ritual, right? So we're saying DC's the Masonic city. They etch on the temple Allah's number. And sorry, because if the audio is picking up my stomach just growled very loudly. I've been starving myself today. Anyhow, 48 days left in the year, the 48th time a unified government has happened. And we've been talking a lot about this 48 number with Donald Trump, who very well could end up being number 48 if Joe Biden does not finish his term. There's talk that Biden could step down to make Kamala the first female president, a very symbolic act. So Trump could become number 48. And again, in Gematria, Donald Trump equals 48. Cleveland also equals 48. We talked about what they did the night before this election and how it looked like it was definitely in the bag for Trump. Remember, Cleveland, the Cavaliers got off to their best start in 48 years, and Trump had his convention in Cleveland back in 2016, a precursor that he'd have this split-term presidency in the big script. Again, that same Monday night that the Cavs got off to their best start in 48 years, Monday Night Football went to overtime with 48 points on the board, 24 all. 48 days after Mahomes' birthday, as his mom endorsed Trump for president. And of course, Patrick Mahomes is from White House, Texas. If you're new here, the word Freemason equates to 48. DC is known as the Masonic city. Again, they etch Allah's temple on the number. Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah, which is where this whole practice of letters and numbers comes from. It's a component of Kabbalah known as Gematria. And don't forget the word Illuminati also equals 48. And again, George Washington does have letters in the National Archive you can look up about his concerns about the Illuminati infiltrating Freemasonry, as well as other institutions, including universities. So the man who has died today, Ted Olson, the prominent lawyer, his birth name is Theodore. Theodore Olson equates to 60 like Donald Trump. Even the surname Olson alone equates to 60. Again, if you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers, the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology applied. But again, this is the 60th election. There's been a lot of 60 rituals leading up to this election of Donald Trump. And with regards to the name Theodore, it just reminds me how when J.D. Vance was nominated in Milwaukee, there were headlines about how he was the youngest VP pick since Theodore Roosevelt, a.k.a. Teddy Roosevelt, who was shot in Milwaukee. Don't forget, when the Cavs had their ritual for their best start in 48 years, they did it against Milwaukee. And Milwaukee Bucks also equates to 48 in Gematria, just for the record. But about J.D. Vance with this parallel to Teddy Roosevelt, a.k.a. Theodore Roosevelt, now the death of Theodore Olson right after the 60th election, where J.D. Vance is the VP nominee. Notice how this happened on the 104th day of J.D. Vance's age. Ted Olson equates to 104 and 40. And Ted Olson died at age 84, whereas J.D. Vance was born in 84. And I forgot to put it up here, but in the exact same cipher as Ted Olson, J.D. Vance also equates to 40. Again, parallels to Reagan, who ran on Mega, number 40, who was reelected 40 years ago. Now, as for the lawyer who's dead, Ted Olson, he worked for the law firm Gibson Dunn, which, notice, it equates to 47, like how Trump has been elected number 47, and he will be 47 unless Biden doesn't finish his term. But in Gematria, Gibson Dunn equates to 47 when you run the alphabetic order, 52 when you run it in reverse, just like authority, just like president. White House and government also have the 52 and 47 pairing. The big way, Gibson Dunn's 119, like Trump will take office with the 119th Congress. Remember, tarot cards equals 119. There's 78 tarot cards in the deck. The top cards are Trump cards. Trump is 78 years old. The election was called for Trump in 2016 on 11/9. Ted Olson's birthday is also September 11th, which can be written 11/9. And they say this is the lawyer that got Bush into the White House. Isn't that kind of interesting in light of how 9/11 went down with Bush? 11 years to the day of his father's speech about a new world order, the World Trade Centers come down. But the law firm Gibson Dunn is also 134 years old. Make America Great Again equates to 134. As for him dying at 84, remember, very special number, Butler equals 84. Trump returned to Butler 84 days later. United States of America equals 84, as does the Jesuit order, as does the Catholic Church, as does the word Jesuit alone, as does the word Masonry alone. 84 is the reflection of 48, where we began. And also noteworthy from today to Inauguration Day is 68 days later. Today also has 68 date numerology. And Ted Olson's remembered for the Bush recount case and the same-sex marriage case, which made same-sex marriage legal in the United States, essentially. And personally, I think that was very much the right decision. I mean, why shouldn't two people in a free nation be able to marry, whether they're straight or or homosexual? Again, personally, as a man, I don't understand the whole homosexuality thing, but if that's what people want to do with their life, I don't understand where the argument is. We're either a free nation or we're not. Anyhow, 68 days before the upcoming Inauguration Day, it almost makes me wonder if that's another thing they could overturn to create more chaos in society, more polarization. How would that look with so many now married homosexual couples if they overturned it? It just makes me wonder if this could be where this is going. Because same-sex marriage equates to 68, like Donald John Trump, again, 68 days before Inauguration Day. And today, 11/13/2024, 11 plus 13 plus 20 plus 24 is 68. And again, the Bush recount case, 47. And that's exactly what was in the headline, right? If anyone's saying I'm cherry-picking his cases because he worked a lot of them, I mean, here's the headline. Prominent conservative lawyer Ted Olson, who argued Bush recount in same-sex marriage cases, dies. And again, just the main story. Prominent conservative lawyer Ted Olson, who argued Bush recount in same-sex marriage cases, dies. So, again, we know how these people work. By the numbers, ritualistically, ritual sacrifice, predictive programming, and united we stand, divided we fall. These people work to divide us every single day. For another one, he was the Solicitor General as he was appointed by George W. Bush. Solicitor General has that gematria of 83, like election, like murder. And remember the song from 1983 by The Police. It's called Murder by Numbers. It's about how murder is the sport of the elected, and it's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. Also, it was the same lawyer pairing for both the two prominent cases that he's mentioned, the Bush recount and same-sex marriage. Just happened to be the same lawyers in both cases. Find that interesting, too. Should remind you it's a small cast of characters. So, again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. And a lot of people are covering the Tulsi Gabbard and Matt Gaetz thing. I'll do something on that as well. This is the one that's slipping through the cracks, and I really think this is the more important story tonight. Until next time, Truth Seeker.